Hey, what's up, everybody? Tuning in from around the world. How's it going, guys? Welcome to Cosmic Origins, to the Cosmic Download, the Saturday show that we sometimes do on Saturdays, but not every Saturday. But we do have a pretty big, a huge amount of things to talk about today. Primarily, we're going to be focusing on what's coming with the upcoming changes for XRP and how that's going to affect crypto and sovereignty, financial sovereignty for everybody around the planet. And I made a video on this yesterday that was a little more short and focused, but today we're going to expand it a little more. And we're also going to jump into the trucker rallies, talking about what's going on. So there's been this trucker rally that's supposed to have been going to Texas for the past few days. There's been kind of limited information about that, but I'm going to show you what I found so far. And then we're also going to talk about the crazy international uprisings that are going on with the farmers in all parts of Europe, Portugal, France, Germany, the Netherlands. There are a lot of things going on around the world. And I think we're not hearing about it very much here in the US, at least. So I think it ties directly in what we've seen with the Canadian trucker rally with cryptocurrency. So we're going to dive into that. And first off, I wanted to say this whole program now is pretty much made possible by my Conscious Crypto Academy. And we're going to be starting a new container coaching program March 9th through May 26th. So if you are somebody who has been procrastinating on getting into crypto, if you're someone who's been feeling the call, maybe you have a little bit of crypto and you need to move it to your wallet and you want to start setting up those passive income streams, compounding interest, things like that, this is going to be the program for you. So we're going to be doing a 3-month container. We're going to be doing weekly coaching calls. We're going to have live classes, pre-recorded material, everything, technical tutorials that are going to show you how to actually do every step of the process. So this is for beginners, either brand new or a little bit of crypto experience. This is for you guys to finally integrate crypto into your lives and ascend to financial freedom, because that's really what this is all about, is creating financial freedom, financial sovereignty. And that's what we're really going to dive into in the show, is why that's so important for the various type of things that we're seeing go on around the world right now. So click the link in the bio if you're interested in joining, and you can read a little bit more about what we're doing in the Conscious Crypto Academy. All right, let's jump into the first thing. I was just organizing these tabs right before, so hopefully they're all in the order that we want to hit them in. First off, just to get an overview of the markets, we've been kind of in this sideways trending turnaround period in the crypto markets. So you can see, we have a mixture of green and red today. Overall, things have been starting to look up. I think we may have hit a relative bottom in the last week or so. So I am personally excited for that. And then in unrelated news to everything else, just in terms of what's going on in the world right now and tying in some external stuff, maybe some of you have heard, maybe you haven't, but Hawaii has been experiencing a very large number of earthquakes within the past few days. So here we can see Hawaii, 444 earthquakes at Kilauea over the last 24 hours and still no eruption. Something will happen. So shout out to all those in Hawaii. I'm sure, for those that especially live on the Big Island with all the volcanic activity, it's probably nothing too crazy for you guys, but I have heard some local Hawaiians say like, hey, this is a little more serious than the news is letting on to believe right now. So if you're in Hawaii, let me know firsthand, primary source from the ground, what's going on there. Have you been feeling the earthquakes? What is the general sentiment out there? I'd like to know. Yes, check out the new site. That should be the one down in the description for the Conscious Crypto Academy. Thank you for posting that, Ascension Diaries. What's up, brother? Let's go, Abundance Crew. Yes, awesome, guys. Welcome. Good to see you guys. So let's move on to the next thing here. So here's our first beginning glimpse of what's going on if they continue to keep pushing people, and we can see digital asset investor here who is a big XRP creator, which is why I specifically brought up his post responding to this clip, because it ties in perfectly with what we're saying with what's going on with XRP and how it's the foundations of our financial freedoms, and crypto in general is going to be the foundation of allowing uprisings like this. So here's Brussels in Belgium. It says, wow, home of the globalist headquarters at the EU in Brussels has been completely taken over by the farmers. You won't see this on BBC or CNN. The revolution will not be televised. 2,700 tractors have blocked roads in Brussels as Belgian farmers are protesting against the new regional government's plan to limit nitrogen emissions. So it's crazy. I mean, I feel like I've been hearing about this kind of thing going on, especially in Germany, for at least the past year, if not the past like 2 years. And there is very, very little coverage of it here in America, and probably in most Western cultures, I would guess. Of course, you know, the mainstream's not covering it, but even in the alternative media, it's really hard to come across information. Luckily, you know, platforms like X are a little more forgiving in terms of censorship. They're not perfect, but that's where I'm seeing most of these come out. So I don't know how old these videos are, but everything that I'm about to share with you has been posted within the last few days to a week. So let me know if any of these you're like, hey, that's actually a clip from a year, a couple years ago. If you know that for sure. And also, if you live in any of these countries, if you're European, I know some of the members in the Conscious Crypto Academy. Shout out to Lotus Lux. I know she's out in the Netherlands and France. And if any of you guys are in those areas, let me know what you're experiencing and what you're hearing on the ground level too. So let's come back to this one. We'll come back to that. I'm going to slide this over here. We'll come back to that when we talk about America. So while we're on the European focus right now, the French farmers are now removing their blockades after the government has given in to their demands. The farmers won. I couldn't find any like video clips or anything else on this, so take it with a grain of salt, but you know, a big win if true. And here is Portugal. The farmers in Portugal have now joined the European-wide farmers protesting against climate agenda. This is huge. So the reason that we're really like connecting this with crypto, if you haven't already guessed, is because when the Canadian truckers, and we're going to tie this in with the Texan truckers soon, when the Canadian truckers had their big rally a couple of years ago, and here, we'll pop over like this. So when the Canadian truckers had their rally, when they were going to protest at the Capitol, and they were going from like BC and Alberta mainly to the east coast of Canada to the Capitol, what happened? Well, the government forcibly shut down people's accounts. So just remove that for a sec. So basically, you know, they went and they shut down people's banks, their any kind of third party, you know, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, like that kind of stuff. They went and they shut down all these accounts so that the truckers, Canadian truckers, had no access to actually funding their journey to protest. And it just reminds me, as I've said several times on this channel, you've probably heard it, David Schwartz, the creator, for one, was banned from PayPal, and that's why he created XRP. Now I'm totally brain farting. There was something else I was going to bring up with that. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, that it was created out of being banned from PayPal. So when those truckers had all of their accounts banned, the only way that they were able to create commerce was using cryptocurrency. You know, remotely, of course, you could do in-cash deals, but if you're trying to fund somebody across the country, thousands of miles, and you need to get them gas and stuff. Oh, and I just remembered what I had to say. I'll bring it back in. You need to be able to fund them. And David Schwartz has said that the foundational freedom in our modern day society is financial freedom. And what's up to everyone rolling in? Hey, Claudette. So financial freedom is is our as much as you might not want to think about it that way, about money being the kind of the foundations of our freedom, it is the foundation of every other freedom. If we take just kind of the basic American Western value freedoms like Second Amendment, right to bear arms, right to free speech, First Amendment, um, anything like that requires money. So if you can't go buy a gun because you go to buy a weapon and say, they do your background check and they're like, oh, this person was at the J6 event, so they don't pass, right? So now your financial freedoms are inhibited because of a centralized state government. So that foundation is so important to be able to express everything else, including free speech. If you can't get on a train to go to the protest, if you can't pay for gas to go to the trucker rally in Canada, you're going to be unable to express those other basic freedoms. So financial freedom, I believe, is going to be the first of the primary structures that are reestablished and reoriented within our society to be able to bring in the rest of the changes. And I fundamentally believe that this financial shift, not only in this respect, but in many other respects, will be that catalyst for creating a massive bloom of opportunity and abundance for everybody on the planet. And that's why investing in crypto right now is so powerful, because even though this new financial system will create equality eventually for all, it will be a step-by-step process to kind of get there. And it's going to be what I interpret as a flipping of the pyramid upside down until eventually it becomes more of a circle or torus than a pyramid. But it's going to flip upside down through crypto because of the massive wave of adoption that's going to be coming in, especially to XRP and the other X assets, which is why so many, conscious individuals, awakened individuals out there are feeling called to XRP. Like I've had so many people reach out to me that are like, I had a dream of this alien being that came to me and said, you have to buy XRP and you have to go get coaching from Jace. Or, I had a vision that XRP was going to be the one, or whatever it is. Like, I've heard so many different stories about people being guided to XRP and crypto in general. And they are always the people who already have this action plan for what they would do if they have the money. So that's why, like, my whole mission with Conscious Crypto is teaching and providing the education and the knowledge necessary that you can go out and then achieve those dreams. And you have this financial, tangible infrastructure around it, right? This isn't just like some pipe dream. It's not just some hope of like, you're going to manifest abundance. Nothing against manifesting abundance, because there's definitely magic there. But I believe in having the male and female energies married. So the female intuitive manifesting energy is very important for seeing opportunities, for calling in that abundance from the universe and manifesting the opportunities that you then need to take action on with the male energy. So if you're completely polarized male or female without the balance of the other, which we should all have within ourselves, regardless if we're a man or we're a woman, or even if you identify as non-binary or something like that, you still have these innate masculine and feminine energies within you, that polarity, that magnetism, positive and negative electricity. It's all the same thing. Polarity is inherent throughout the universal creation. And so I think it's really important for people to take, that balance with both. And if you're someone who is super action oriented, say you're hyper masculine, you're grind, gotta do, you're sacrificing your sleep, you're doing all this stuff, you're missing the feminine, right? You're missing the nurturing, you're missing that kind of more raw connection with God, that trust and that faith, that blind faith and trust in God. And on the other side of the spectrum, if you are hyper feminine and you are, essentially sitting in your room just saying affirmations all day that are hollow and they don't mean anything, recently I talked about like Tony Robbins. I heard him say recently the difference between affirmation and invocation is invocations you actually believe and you intend to take action to manifest, whereas affirmations can be hollow and meaningless. And if in many cases it can be like you're telling yourself a lie, like, I've got $1 million. I've got $1 million. I've got $1 million every day in the mirror, right? But do you actually believe that? Do you believe yourself to actually take the actions to get there? And so I think there's this balance of both. And within the crypto realm, it's the same thing. It's like you need both that insight, that feminine intuition, the calling to something, and then you need the masculine courage to go out and actually take the steps to achieve that thing. And you have the marriage of the two. And it's like that, that idiom or that analogy of, the guy who's stuck on a boat in a tsunami or in, I'm not even saying this right. I always mess this up, but the story of the guy who's like, I'm just going to make it up. We'll say a tsunami came in and he got stuck on his house in the middle of the flood, right? And he's floating on his house and he's praying to God and he's saying, hey, God, please get me out of here. I know you're going to help me, rescue me. Someone shows up with a boat and it's like, hey, man, get on the boat. Let's get out of here. And he's like, no, God's going to save me. And they're like, okay. And then someone shows up with a helicopter and they drop the ladder and they're like, hey, man, get in the helicopter. We got to go. And they're like, no, it's okay. God's going to save me. And then, the guy ends up dying and he goes to heaven and he's like, God, why didn't you save me? And God's like, I literally sent you a guy in a boat and a guy on a helicopter and you declined it both times. Right. So that would be like the hyper feminine that is waiting for everything to be done for them instead of having the balance to take action on it. So if that's you, that's what Conscious Crypto Academy is for, in terms of actually giving you the tools to have that masculine side of it as well, take the action, set up the accounts, the wallets, the things that are very important for your financial sovereignty. And I think for money magic as well, just a quick story for me, when I first got into crypto, I remember talking about this with my buddy, Zach, Zen Lounge. Many of you guys know him. When we were doing roundtables a couple of years ago, we were talking about how when we started putting our Babylonian money magic USD into XRP and other quantum cryptocurrencies, that literally there is some type of money magic manifestation energy change around that. And when you go from holding your value in the debt-based, all-seeing eye dollar Babylonian money magic system, and you shift that value into a decentralized, by the people, for the people quantum system, it literally started to change other aspects of our reality around us, where more abundant opportunities started coming in, financial freedom started to blossom more. And for me, my health improved. So many different things that were kind of ripple effects, no pun intended, from the change of that money magic system and going from a debt-based system to an asset-based system. So instead of owning debt, you're owning the asset itself, right? Yo, what up? What up to everyone? Hey, Mario, we got to get you on the show, Mario. Got to do that soon. Talk astrology with what's going on. XRP was recommended to me personally by one of the CEOs of Goldman in 2018. This is why I bought it. That's awesome. I'm wondering if it's Salman, the DJ guy, because I think the current CEO, either the current or the last one of Goldman Sachs, is like a DJ too, DJs in Miami and stuff. I think we might have talked about this before, actually. Bitcoin halving in April, says Joel. Yep. So there is a overall bullish momentum in the markets, which is why I think it's such a good opportunity to get in now. If you're someone who's been kind of procrastinating on getting into crypto and you're like, okay, I'm just going to wait for the right time. And like with anything, there's never a right time, right? It's like having a kid or anything else, where you don't always, if you wait for the perfect time, it's probably going to pass you by, or it's just going to show up. So, I mean, in terms of having a kid, maybe that's not a good analogy, because I was thinking people have kids and they don't plan it. And a lot of parents are waiting for that perfect moment. Maybe that's not a perfect analogy, but if you're procrastinating on the opportunity because you're waiting for that perfect moment, it's going to pass you by. Just to be blunt, you don't want to miss the train on this opportunity, even though the new system we're moving into is going to be one of fruitful abundance everywhere. If you invest in this infrastructure now, just like people who invested in the internet back in the 90s and the 2000s. You're going to be so much more well positioned to make an impact on society. So if you're someone who is, has vision, if you're someone who's like, I know what can help the planet, if I make these healing centers, if I make these schools, if I, could make this church or this temple or this service for humanity, or if I could, whatever it is, if the money is the thing that's stopping you from doing that right now, this is where I and the people in my community around me and the people in Conscious Crypto Academy are feeling called to this being that catalyst. So if that's you, I would just say don't wait until it's too late, because if you have that vision and you're feeling called to this, then it's meant to be in the world, right? And I think there's going to be a lot of beauty that is created out of this crypto boom and the sovereignty that's going to come out of it. And we're going to get back into like the truckers and all that and connect it. But that's what happened with Canada, right? Like they relied upon crypto to do the protest. They could not get to the capital and fulfill the mission without being able to remotely fund themselves. So when they shut down all the banks and all the crypto exchanges, which are basically banks, right? That's where you go to buy your crypto, but it's like a bank where they own it. So this is why we teach how to pull it off and withdraw it to a private wallet where nobody can access it but you. The private wallets are where they couldn't touch. And I remember actually at the time, the Canadian government was lying to its citizens, and they were saying that they were shutting down private wallets, which is just a complete fabrication, because it's literally impossible. It is against the laws of physics of the blockchain. No centralized group, nobody can shut down anyone else's wallet. That's the beauty of the blockchain. So like when Trudeau and the government came out and they were like, we're taking every action we can to shut down these wallets and everything. I was like, wow, you're lying through your teeth. It's crazy. But they want you to think they have more power over you than they actually do. And this is why crypto has been so heavily attacked. And XRP in particular within the United States has been so heavily attacked because it is the solution to the banking cartels. And the irony is that they try to make XRP out to be the banker's coin. But if you look at where that narrative it's coming from Bitcoin, it's coming from Ethereum, which are literally the bankers' coins themselves. If you go look at who JP Morgan Chase is invested in, what they have on their portfolio, they own a majority of the infrastructure on the Ethereum network. And that leads into this whole ETHgate. I don't even want to say conspiracy, because it's a conspiracy fact, I guess you can say. It is a conspiracy fact. But ETHgate was basically when, long story short, when Ripple and XRP came to the public with this new product, XRP, and this service and these financial, technologies, JP Morgan, I'm assuming, wanted a large stake in that, a large share. So when Ripple said, no, we're not going to give you a large ownership of this technology, Ripple went away and decided to work directly with the market instead of working with the big banks. Well, JP Morgan and Ethereum, they went and basically had, JP Morgan basically invested in what became Ethereum. And the whole conspiracy around it was how the Ethereum Foundation was given this free pass from the regulatory standpoint that XRP and the other cryptos were not given, and they were being given this elevated state in the market. And then you look at the early investors for Ethereum, and they were these mega whales who were anonymous. So you have, I think it's 100 plus of these mega whales who had a private investment opportunity into Ethereum before it was ever public. And now those guys are, hundreds of millionaires, if not billionaires, I'm assuming some of them, that have, many people have shown, have direct ties back to communist governments in other countries, the obvious one being China. So actually, now that we're talking about ETHgate, I'm going to play you a quick clip that I was waiting to play a little later, but since, oh, you know what? I have to share it different. Let's see. The audio is weird on here, but I can't share my window like normal with StreamYard. I have to go in and share the individual tabs. So let me just grab it. Starts with digital. Here we go. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. So this is a clip from David Schwartz, and you can see digital asset investor here says, imagine that, not Bitcoin, Ethereum is owned by China. So let's play this real quick.
One of the crazy success outcomes that
and again, this is David Schwartz. This is the creator, the main architect behind the XRP ledger. And he's talking about kind of where XRP could go in the big picture.
One of the crazy success outcomes that I could see is, like, I could see a place where the United States says, look, the dollar is not going to be able to hold on to its position of dominance, but we'd rather whatever becomes the sort of next dominant settlement unit not be something controlled by Russia or China or a geopolitical rival. You could almost see them deciding that a cryptocurrency was a less bad outcome for them. And it may be that there's no geopolitical entity that's strong enough to take over the role that the United States had. And so maybe they decide on some neutral asset. I don't know. You can dream, right?
Yeah. Hey, Money, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Okay, so what he's saying, just to kind of recap that, is that these global powers, mainly like the BRICS and other nations in the United States, of course, they are not going to want any one country's dominance in the global financial markets. And this is obviously like where we would be going in terms of conscious expansion as a society too, is going to a place where it's obvious, but no one country should own power over the rest of the world, including the United States, including the dollar, especially considering that the dollar is this debt, creating machine. So what he's saying is that a digital asset, a decentralized digital asset like XRP, is positioned to be the new global currency in a way, or at least that settlement technology. So this is where I think in the big picture, we're going to have BRICS as being the primary economic alliance that's taking on the Davos, European groups, the Brussels, Davos, EU groups. They're going to be taking them on with this new quantum financial system, as you could call it. And I think XRP is going to be the settlement token where all of these nations will have their respective national currencies. It's not like we're going to have a one world currency and it's just XRP and nothing else. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be an ecosystem. Each country will have its national currencies. BRICS will probably have its collective BRICS currency, but then XRP and other coins like it will be that actual intermediary or bridge. And that's where, XRP is positioned to be that bridge between all other forms of value. And when you compare it to something like Bitcoin, a lot of the Bitcoin crowd says, hey, you don't need gold. You got Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the new gold, which is just obviously so ridiculous, because a digital, currency, no matter how great it is never going to replace the value and the utility that precious metals and physical currencies and physical forms of value have. So instead of trying to play this game like, oh, you don't need gold, we're going to replace gold with Bitcoin, Bitcoin's going to be the new one world currency, you can see where that narrative fits into the narrative of the EU, Brussels, Davos, SEC, Wall Street kind of groups, right? So let me read some comments here. My vision is to create local springs in every city with a temple of sacred geometry with magical gardens on the property. Everyone is welcome to bathe, pray, and take from the waters. I love that. I love that. Yeah, put your visions in the chat. Write them out, because it'll help manifest it too. Let me know what your visions are. Unless it's something you want to keep to yourself, that's totally cool. Obviously, I think there is power in that too. I love that vision. And like the springs is what I think. It's funny that you say springs because I was talking about this in my short video from yesterday, and I was going to bring it up again when we talk about liquidity pools in a little bit. That the new update coming to XRP is going to be creating liquidity pools, which I interpret as like metaphysical financial springs within the financial market, like a metaphysical spring where, you know, financial energy has been stored and collected and gone rancid by these big families and groups that have kept money outside of the economic system of the all. You know, when you keep water stagnant, it goes bad, it goes putrid. And so these liquidity pools that are about to open on the XRP ledger, which Mr. Poole has even talked about, opening up the pools of liquidity and that being key to society's freedom. This is going to be like implanting springs around the planet. And, you know, there's the water codes within the word currency itself. Currency. So currency is this water energy, which backs up even more Ripple, you know, Ripple XRP being this Ripple, this water energy, creating life force in the economic financial world, which again will prosper out to everything else. So I love that your vision for this like aligns with that energetically too, in terms of the springs and like financial springs coming out, creating moving water around the planet. Do you think the collapse of Evergrande in China will have a speed up effect on the collapse of the dollar and the uptake of crypto? Yeah, I heard about the Evergrande collapse and I have not researched it enough to really be able to speak on it with any kind of intelligence. But intuitively, and from what I do know, it does feel like it is a catalyst, or I picture like a Jenga piece, like being pulled where, you know, the game Jenga where you stack all the bricks and you're pulling a piece out and eventually it's all going to come collapsing down. Evergrande feels like one of those key Jenga pieces that just got pulled. Joel Katz is the man. Yeah, Joel Katz is David Schwartz's pen name, his alternative name persona, if you're not familiar with that. So yeah, okay, so let's jump back into some of our stories here. Give me just 2 seconds. This is always, StreamYard is funny sometimes. They won't let me access my windows occasionally. I need to get like a second monitor. I'm doing everything on one monitor. Okay, here we go. Share. There's the window. Okay. All right. Looks good, right? Okay. Let's jump into the next thing. Yeah, Dennis says, never thought about currency like that, adding a new meaning to watch the water. Totally. I never thought about the watch the water part of it, but yeah. Currency. The first place I heard that was from a girl named, she goes by Water Priestess. Her name is Jilly, and she's Chris O'Brien's partner, Come Out Better, if you guys know him. He's a friend of mine. And I heard her speak about that currency because she's all about the water codes and they bring in the financial market stuff too. And that blew my mind. So yeah, watch the water. Yeah, definitely gives it a whole new meaning. Okay. So let's pop back over here. So we were talking about the European farmers protesting right now. So we looked at Brussels and France and Portugal. And now we're going to talk about the United States and what's going on. So there has not been quite as much coverage on this as I would have liked to have seen, but I think this weekend will be more of a pivotal point in terms of information coming out, because I think that they're supposed to be arriving there over the last couple of days going into this weekend. So this is just a couple clips of this convoy, which if you're not familiar with this at all, this is a convoy that is going to Texas from all over the United States, I'm pretty sure, to support Texas's fight against the border wall. And if you're really unfamiliar with the bigger picture of this, if you haven't been keeping up with the news on this story, basically Texas has gone against the federal government in the United States, and while the federal government, the Biden admin, has been having a completely open border, just letting people in, assisting people, getting them IDs, dispersing them all around the country, which Elon has been calling out. I think I have a clip. Okay, maybe I don't know where it is, but Elon has been calling out a ton of this stuff lately and really putting it into the mainstream. You know, he's got a big voice, so that's a pretty big deal. But he's been calling out specifically how they're using it to mess with the upcoming the big E word. And so now what these truckers are doing, and what multiple states have done, is the states have sent reinforcements. I'm pretty sure it's like over 25 states so far, like half or more even, have sent National Guard and other reinforcements outside of this trucker rally, because this is like, you know, the common person, blue collar worker that's doing the rally. But then you have the National Guard and the state governments coming in to support Texas, and kind of leading into the Civil War narrative that we've been hearing. But I don't feel like it's going to turn into a civil war. I feel like I felt that energy kind of come in when we first started hearing about this and when they put out that trailer for that movie. But now it feels like it's dissipated a little bit, and it feels like it's not going to be this. It feels like it's going to be everybody against the current admin, against the Biden admin and the corrupt government. It seems like there's been this mass, what do you call it? Like critical mass point that's been hit. And I believe within the awakening itself too, we've hit this critical mass of coming out of COVID, and everyone who is catalyzed coming out of COVID. There's a lot of people that are waking up in multiple different areas, and XRP has been, within the crypto realm, one of those big hubs where a lot of the awakened people are feeling called to XRP, and then additionally people are feeling called to XRP, and then that's waking them up spiritually, and you know, in all sorts of other respects too. So it's very interesting. And banks too, like river banks, totally. Yeah. That's very interesting. I didn't think about that. Good point. From the interior countries, says Dennis, they have undercover policy and are driving the trucks also. Very few people know who is who. That way they can take care of the problem on the spot. So yeah, I wonder, you know, bringing this back to the Canadian trucker rally, like if we're going to see a similar kind of event go down, if they're going to try to censor, I mean, it would be really dumb after what we've seen Canada do and how much it blew up virally. It'd be really dumb for like the Biden admin to go and exert their power and shut down people's banks and things like that. But I wonder if it'll get to that point. But if it did, it would be, I think, another major catalyst for mass crypto adoption by the common person, and realizing that it is the only way to store non-physical value sovereignly. And I really mean the only way, because every other form of digital value is, you know, controlled by them, you know, whether it's a bank or it's a centralized financial company, Cash App, Venmo, whatever it is. Those are all able to be shut down like that. You have no sovereignty over your money, which is why I think personally the bank and these various financial apps are the worst places, the most risky, the most dangerous places that you could store value in the digital space. So of course, in the physical realm, gold, silver are your God's money, your physical value, but you can't go to the store and spend gold, right? Like you can't take your gold or your silver coins to the grocery store. They're not going to accept it as legal tender. So we need a digital sovereignty, which is what crypto is doing. And it's also not practical to carry around a bunch of gold and silver with you everywhere, right? So the future is having these digital assets that are sovereign by nature, that are either backed directly or indirectly through the market by these precious metals and commodities. And that's exactly what XRP is positioned to do. It's positioned to empower every other form of value out there. It's going to empower gold, empower silver, empower national currencies, empower oil, commodities, whatever it is. Instead of trying to compete with them and replace them, it's going to create a more pure version of kind of the capitalist fundamentals within the market, where, you know, people are going to have their free will and their sovereignty, and the value and the energy will flow accordingly. So what do we got next? So here's another clip. The audio is not going to play on the current way that I'm sharing it. I have to share the tab individually, which is a little difficult, but nothing special in terms of the audio. You're not missing anything. It's just them honking, but it's a clip of the truckers coming in. Not just truckers, but average people too. And a lot of people are also speculating that there could be a J6 style false flag that is attempted to be carried out. So I would just say, you know, keep an awareness of that, especially if you're feeling called to going or living in the area. Not that you shouldn't participate, you know, do whatever you feel called to do. But I do feel there's a possibility that they could try another type of framing event to frame the people that are trying to make their voices heard. And here's another one. Good drone shot. Make it bigger here. So inspiring. Okay. So now we're going to start to transition into more of what's going on in the crypto realm and with XRP. And I wanted to start with this meme. It's not related to XRP directly, but it was posted by Patrick Riley, who is a he's the creator of a product called Reaper, and there's a token associated with it called Ascension, which is really cool. The Reaper coin and the Ascension coin, and then he has the Ankh coin. And I'm not going to dive too deep into that, but this guy created it, so there's the connection. But if you saw, there was some drama with RFK Jr. recently because somebody found an old comment of his on this like lewd video of a girl on TikTok, and he had commented, or you know, there was this comment from his account from like 2022, and people were like, "Oh, what happened?" Like, you know, obviously, like it probably was not him because he didn't really have TikTok back then. So what he came out and said was that it was basically there was an account that somebody else owned that was an intern, that they turned that account into his account. I forget why, but they transitioned it from this old one to RFK Jr. So this old comment shows up on you know, the TikTok under his name now instead of under the kid's name who left it. That was the explanation. And so this is just a meme making fun of that, where this is totally fake, but there's like obviously pictures of you know, silver and gold. And why can't I zoom in here? There we go. So there's pictures of silver and gold, and they just put his wow. So I thought that was pretty funny. All right, so the big update that I made a video on yesterday, and real quick, let me read this comment. People that set up this convoy have the local police along the route escorting them along the way. Also, I'll stop with it now. Thank you. Interesting. Yeah, that's good to know. So the big update that is coming to XRP in the next 2 weeks is automated market makers and liquidity pools. I'm going to take a quick sip of my drink here. So what this is automated market makers are a way for the small and average person, the small investor like us, the average person, to participate in a decentralization of market making that is normally only done by the hold on. There we go. Normally only done by the financial elite. So typically in the stock market, in the traditional investment realm, market makers are like very, very powerful, influential, very deep pocket billionaire type people who provide the liquidity for these markets. That's my understanding of it. I'm not too versed on the traditional financial realm version, but on the crypto side, what is happening is that they're taking what is normally done in a centralized way by, say, like a Warren Buffett or a whoever coming in and providing the liquidity for these markets. So when people trade, there is liquidity. Now, these automated market makers are going to break up that centralization into a decentralized market making infrastructure. So now we can participate in the process, and also the big part of this for us as investors is create passive income with our XRP. So until now, and even as we speak right now, there is no native way on chain to produce interest, staking, passive income of any kind natively on the layer 1 XRP. Now, of course, there's other blockchains. You could take XRP off and wrap it, but that's not really XRP, right? So this is going to represent a massive change for XRP holders on both a personal abundance level, but also a technology decentralization level, where now we're going to be able to participate in this market making. And the way that works is there are these things called liquidity pools, which ties into, this is what I was talking about earlier when Mario brought up springs. So these liquidity pools are basically decentralized pools, a pool of money, meaning it's a space where you put money into. It's decentralized. Nobody owns this space. It's a public pool. And you basically put 50-50 of two different assets into a pool. So it's a trading pair. And I'll share with you what that looks like. So this is an example. Okay, this is what it will look like most likely, particularly this being the Sologenic platform to access these pools. So I'm going to get into the Sologenic in a second and talk about why that's so important to this. But so you can see here how there are, multiple assets that are trading pairs. So you have like Solo XRP, XRP USD, Solo USD, Solo Euro, Core Euro, any two forms of value make a trading pair. And you can see there's a button here that says add liquidity. So basically you would put 50-50, let's say it's Solo XRP or XRP USD. Let's do that one because that's a little more, relatable for the average person. So XRP USD. So you put in, say, $1,000 of XRP and $1,000 of USD into this pool, $2,000 total in this example. You can see that there is a fee that is, I'm going to zoom in here. You can see how it says fee 0.0075%, or this one's much higher, 0.01%. Okay, so there's a difference in the fees between the two markets. And so that fee is what anybody who comes in and trades between these two assets, yeah, Smokey Bear, I love that. So anybody who comes in and trades between these two assets, they're going to be paying that fee. And obviously it's very small. This is not like a Bitcoin or Ethereum fee where you're going to pay $20 on a $10, exchange or whatever. XRPL fees are inherently very, very tiny. But when you have institutions, especially coming in and trading between these assets, utilizing the liquidity pools, all of a sudden now we, the small guy, are benefiting from the institutions utilizing this decentralized space. So now this is literally the level playing field, you guys. Like when you hear, whoever it is talk about level the playing field, whether it's T or 17 or other stuff, this is the level playing field. And this is the foundation through which the playing field will become increasingly level in all different aspects. And so it's the level playing field because we all will have to utilize the same decentralized system, whether you're me or you, or you're a JP Morgan, or you're a government or whatever. They're going to have to use the same playing field. And so we can benefit by providing that liquidity. And so we get a percentage of that fee that they pay relative to what we have in the pool. And this is basically one method that we can create passive income for providing this liquidity. That's the incentive, right? So there's a lot more that goes into it. That's the very basic explanation of it. And if you guys join Conscious Crypto Academy, we are starting March 9th. And we're going to teach you all about liquidity pools. And hopefully by the time we start, this thing is passed. It's set to pass on the 14th. So we're going to have some time to play around with it. And the liquidity pools are a little more complicated than I just explained. Again, that was like tip of the iceberg. There are inherent risks involved, just like with markets in general. So kind of like how if you invest in XRP or any asset, gold, anything, the risk is that, the price could go down, right? And if you sell when the price is down, then you're at a loss, and that's considered a risk. So in the same respect, liquidity pools, the primary risk is in the relative value of the assets, okay? So basically, if one asset goes really high compared to the other one, like say you have XRP USD and XRP goes to the moon and USD stays the same, then that could result in impermanent loss, meaning you might not be at a negative, you might not have actually lost, but the opportunity cost, what you could have made, might be more profitable. So we're going to teach you about that in the Conscious Crypto Academy. We'll break it down. That's definitely the more advanced stuff. And in the Academy, we start with all the simples, the fundamentals. So if you're someone that's brand new, that's who this is really meant for. This is meant for people that are either know nothing about crypto, never bought crypto, but you're ready to make the change, ready to make the action, or you bought a little bit of crypto, but you need to make the next step. Maybe you have it on an exchange. Maybe you need to set up a wallet, or you just set up a wallet, but you don't know what to do from there. This is for people to kind of take that beginner level to the next level, into intermediate and then advanced level crypto user. So click the link down below if you guys want to join the Academy. We start on March 9th, and we have an amazing discount. Literally, I'm doing it for 60% off of what I've been doing the course for, because I genuinely want to open this up to more people to have the opportunity to be a part of this. And I didn't want the price to be that limiting factor for people. So for this month of February, I have the entire program 60% off. And I would say, if the financial factor is a thing for you right now, because it is for a lot of people, obviously the economy is not great. So I would say take advantage of this opportunity this month and get the cheaper version of the program, and you're going to continue access to that. So even after the 26th of May, after this 3-month container, you'll continue to get access to the Academy recorded live classes, the tutorials, the coaching recordings, and the community Telegram group that we have. You're going to have continued access to all of that. So the 3 months is only for the live coaching aspect of it, where we're going to meet every week. We're going to be in a group call. We're going to talk about what's going on in the markets, answer your questions, figure out any technical obstacles you're having. And then all of that you'll get to keep beyond the 3 months. So highly recommend checking it out. You can click the link below. And let me catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll jump back into the stories. Okay, we're good on chat. All right, so let's jump back to the liquidity pools. So that's the gist of the liquidity pools. This is really just exciting overall for XRP holders and for the whole crypto space. And it represents a massive move forward in the decentralization of international markets and, taking the power away from the banking cartels and giving that power back to the people, putting us on a level playing field. And here is a tweet from Crypto Mason. He says, some of you guys will make more money in 2024 than you ever have in any other year of your life. And I feel that very strongly too. And I think these liquidity pools are going to be a big part of that. And that reminds me, I was going to bring up Sologenic. So here, we'll round this out and then we'll bring it back to Sologenic, which is that platform that we're actually going to use the liquidity pools with. Biggest layer 2 on the XRPL. And for me, one of my top 3 investments consistently in my portfolio. So this is just another breakdown of the automated market makers, the AMMs, which David Schwartz jokingly called a automated money maker. You can check out my video yesterday if you want to see that clip. Yeah, Smokey says, I feel the abundance in 2024, right? I feel it too. It feels like it's going to be that crazy catalyst year with the big E word that, is 275 days away, if it even happens. But it really feels like we're at that pivotal critical mass tipping point. And here's another water thing I just thought of. So you guys ever been to, anybody ever been to Raging Waters? Any Californians out there? I don't know if they have them outside of California, but when I was a kid, I went to this water park called Raging Waters, and it was like my favorite theme park. And now I look back and go, oh man, that water that all the kids were probably peeing and pooping in and sweating, and oh, it was gross. But back then it was fun. And there was this island that you basically had to swim to in the Raging Waters theme park. And it was this like little water island. And I always love the fact that you had to like swim to it. I think there was a walking way for like the parents, but it was just cooler as a kid to swim there. Yeah. Raging Waters. Yeah. San Bernardino. I think it was San Bernardino. I don't even remember. It must be, right? So on this little water island, they had this like big old play park, and there's like water cannons and all this stuff. And they had this big bucket, and I've seen this at other places too, but they have this giant water bucket. It's got to be like thousands of gallons of water, and it fills up. And then, it gets to the point where it fills up, and then it tips over, and all the water comes flowing out, and it splashes over everyone, and then it flips back, and then it fills up again over like 20 minutes and repeats that. And that image has been ingrained in my mind whenever I think of this tipping point that we've hit in terms of the collective consciousness. It feels like that bucket of water is like we are right in the process where it just filled up and it's just about to flip forward and freaking dump all this liquidity on people. And normally I think about it purely in the spiritual context, but in the financial context, it applies too, considering liquidity and water and dumping the liquidity on the masses and getting this water circulating again. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but so I'm not going to play this, but it's just kind of a compilation of different things the automated market maker is going to enhance and bring to the market and to the technology of cryptocurrency. So if you want to check it out, it's at DropsXRP. Okay, and then this just came out yesterday, and into today, more people are talking about it. So breaking news, Ripple payments back on track in the US for 2024. After getting sidelined for 3 years in the US due to the SEC lawsuit, Ripple's launching new products backed by money transmitter licenses across most states. Could this be the XRP adoption boost everyone's been hoping for? Is the wait for price appreciation almost over? What say you? And this is from the senior director, head of product marketing at Ripple. They said, we're excited to wrap up January with fresh updates. Building 90% of our business is outside of the US. After being relatively quiet for the past 3 years in the US for Ripple payments because of that lawsuit, we're geared up to announce the new product updates powered by our money transmitter licenses that cover the majority of US states. Okay, so not only is that crazy bullish within itself, because that's a huge sign for some kind of mass adoption coming. And you got to remember, XRP is the only cryptocurrency that has legal clarity in the United States. I'm pretty sure not even Bitcoin, as much as people want to think, not even Bitcoin has legal clarity where a judge has actually ruled in written law, this is a commodity, not a security. XRP is the only one. I believe with Bitcoin, they just had the heads of agencies give their opinion and say, hey, we're going to interpret it this way. But as far as legal written law from a case by a judge, XRP is the only one. And so it's positioned to be the one that undergoes mass adoption. And now partner this with, where is it? I want to make sure I hit the right one. No. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. I got to find it. There was an update about X payments. Okay, I must have not have brought it up, but now you're getting a sneak peek of some of the future stuff. So let me just look it up real quick. We'll look up X payments, because the update that I saw was a list of states that X payments was now compliant with or getting ready to work with. Let me go to my page. I think I might have put it under my likes. By the way, go follow me on X if you're not already, at Cosmic Origins. The O is a 0 on Origins. Here we go. Okay. So X has obtained money transmitter licenses for payment services in 18 states, including my state of Arizona. We're not seeing California, and it doesn't look like New York is on here either, which makes sense considering the political, affiliations with those. But 18 states, I wonder if we're going to be getting an official partnership sometime in the near future, which has always been my theory, that Elon and X and SpaceX and Starlink and Space Force and XRP and Ripple are all part of a larger plan that I would call Project X. And that this has been a larger operation that's been going on to replace the centralized, financial cartels. So I think that's pretty exciting. We're going to see what happens. There is an official X Payments Twitter page that I don't believe, no posts yet, nothing there. Let's see who they're following. Yeah, they're just following X. So I would expect some big updates with that, but my bet is on that X is going to be using all of the X coins for their payments. So like, how perfect would it be? XRP, XLM, XDC, Stronghold X, SHX. I think particularly XRP and Stronghold have a really good chance of being chosen as a partner for X payments. And we know for a fact, Elon has said they will not be creating an X crypto. So they will basically, they're alluding that they're going to be using existing crypto technologies. Now, it may start outside of crypto. It may start with their inherent financial service centralized thing. But I just feel so deeply that XRP is ingrained into this mission and saving humanity. And it goes back to old videos that I did. I was talking about Space Force too, being a part of this. Starlink, Space Force, SpaceX. Space Force has literally made videos about banking in space and how they are securing the banking war domain in space. So why are they fighting a banking war in space? Why would they be doing that except if it's related to all of this, right? And there is a fight for the control over the financial system, centralized versus decentralized, by the people for the people versus control over the people. CBDCs versus cryptos, this polarity is everywhere. So my guess is that we're going to get probably this year, 2024, a partnership with some cryptocurrencies. And I guess partnership maybe is not the right word, but a utilization of the technology, because partnership implies contracts and centralized entities. Nobody needs to get XRP or Ripple's permission to use XRP. They could just start using it. However, there might be an actual partnership with Ripple and X. That would be pretty crazy. So here, let's play this real quick. This is a new trailer for an upcoming documentary. And I have to share this differently real quick. So let me close this so that we can get the audio. Okay, here we go. So this is a trailer from Fruition Productions, which is run, I'm pretty sure, by Coach JV. So the 3T Warrior Academy page, YouTube, I'm pretty sure that's who is behind this whole project. So let's watch this quick clip.
So I think you'll dig this as something that we made in the office on ETHgate. Gave a speech and they cashed it.
He's talking about ETHgate.
And everybody recognizes that gentleman right there, Bill Hinman.
Bill Hinman came to the stand in 2018 and gave his famous speech where he declared that Ethereum wasn't a security.
By the way, I'm seeing Arizona as being kind of the quantum capital for this technology moving forward. There's a lot of that kind of stuff being built here, chip factories and stuff. It feels like it's going to be kind of the quantum computing and crypto capital of the United States and maybe even the world.
His famous speech where he declared that Ethereum wasn't a security. The SEC tried to allege that all sales of XRP were an unregistered securities offering.
December 21st, Brad Garlinghouse came out and basically informed the world that they were soon going to be sued by the SEC.
SEC is preparing to sue that crypto startup for selling unlicensed securities.
Can you explain your view of whether Ethereum is a security or not, but then why you believe that Ripple is a security?
We don't get involved in these types of public forums talking about any one project.
We believe current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions.
The SEC is trying to capture the digital asset space. They went after Ripple and specifically XRP is because it was the biggest threat to the incumbent banking and financial system.
The United States government.
And that's the key point. The narrative that's put out by the banks through Bitcoin and Ethereum, the narrative they put out is that XRP is the banker's coin. But when you actually look on the other side of the veil, you see very clearly that it is not. It is the banking replacement coin. It is the level playing field opportunity. And that's why the banks themselves are trying to do this reverse psychology and make the masses not like it. And that's why even though JP Morgan is out there saying crypto is bad, don't invest in crypto, they're invested heavily in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's the psychological warfare, the spiritual warfare, and financial warfare, obviously.
It's probably the biggest bully in the world. I read the complaint and it was terrible news. People are going to lose money and people had their life savings in XRP.
All right, welcome to Regulatory Capture 101, also known as ETHgate.
Ooh, it gives me chills. And that guy, if you don't know him, this is John Deaton. He was pretty much the biggest lawyer, not involved in the SEC Ripple case, but spectating and commenting on. And then he created a civil lawsuit or class action lawsuit for the XRP holders against the SEC for basically like personal damages in fraudulently, going after XRP and then affecting all these XRP holders. And that said, I'm actually very grateful that this whole thing went down, because at the time I thought I had a good amount of XRP, but relatively what I was able to stack after that, because of the price drop, when the SEC sued XRP, or when they sued Ripple in December of 2021, 2020? No, 2021, they, the price dropped. And so all of a sudden there was this massive opportunity for people like myself who did not get those cheap prices, or didn't get a stack that much at those cheap prices. Now all of a sudden we have this 2+ year opportunity to stack. So shout out if you're one of the people who also did the same thing. I know Joel here is one of them. He's also our assistant coach in the Conscious Crypto Academy. Shout out to Joel. And for all the other people who held through the SEC lawsuit and who didn't sell, and who actually used it to stack their XRP holdings higher. So I'm very grateful, even though this is, a very corrupt thing that happened. In the big picture, and by the grace of God, it allowed me and many other people to enter the markets and increase our bag size, so that we could be that much more abundant in the future. And I think that, that was probably God's plan, to let that opportunity be open for a bit longer. And look how many more people now are aware of XRP and have invested in XRP post that lawsuit. Like the attention on it now is so much more, and it extended that opportunity. And still, we're in that opportunity right now. Like we're sitting at like 50 cents, XRP all-time highs, basically $4. And personally, I think, my opinion is, we're going into the thousands, tens of thousands of dollars one day. So there is a lot of room for opportunity. We are only in the very, very beginning. But it's going to be very cool to see this documentary come out on Netflix and the other streaming services, and what it's going to do, because, documentaries have very potent effects, even though they're not coming from the mainstream in this respect. When say like your parents' generation sees there's a documentary about something, it legitimizes it. It makes it more official for the average person, just psychologically. So psychologically, what this is going to do, the conversations that it's going to stimulate and create in the crypto realm, I think will be profound, and I think will really contribute to what we're going to see happen in 2024, like Smokey's saying here. Vitalik is too powerful. Yeah, you saw the quick meme of Vitalik, but I meant to save that for the end. I'll show you guys again. But oh yeah, December 2020, huh? Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, you're right, 2020. Man, the years, I just like, they fly by. I get them all mixed up. Okay, let us move on here. And I need to stop sharing and reshare, which means I have to make my window tiny. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're starting to wrap up the tabs that I have here to share with you. So let's take a look at this. If you guys are familiar with the Ripple Riddlers, then you may recognize this. If you're not familiar with the Ripple Riddlers, the simplified way that I would explain it is that they are like 17, where it is either an individual or a group of individuals, maybe even the same people as 17, where there are multiple accounts, including this one, 321 Yugal Barab, which is Bearable Guy 123 backwards, which there's another account. That's the same person. And then you have Mr. Pool, who I've talked about a lot. And we know Mr. Pool and Bearable Guy are the same person or the same team because they've showed them creating these riddles. But basically, these riddles have coded information in them. And instead of it being drops of text like we've seen with others, it is puzzles of images with information and numbers and coded information into those images. And it probably goes way deeper. I'm sure there's multiple tiers of who the information is for, inside comms, public comms, all that kind of stuff. But I have seen more direct confirmations from Mr. Pool specifically than I have with even 17 and other stuff. Like direct confirmations predicting things that came true, that there are direct deltas, like crazy delta confirmations over and over and over and over. So it's caught my attention. And one thing, this breakdown I found particularly interesting because the person broke down the, I'm not sure what you call it, I guess the numer, I don't think it's gematria technically, but like aligning the letters with the numbers. Maybe that is gematria, but the numerology of it. And they got 214. Well, do you remember we were just talking about 214? And what was it related to? Let me find that tab again. Oh, XLS 30 being set to go live, the automated market makers on the same day. And it doesn't say it here. It doesn't say 214, but we know maybe it's on the Ripple page. But for sure, that is the date because it's about, yeah, maybe they didn't post about it on here. Well, basically, the way that these updates work on the XRPL is you have, you need 80% of the validators to approve the update. And then for 2 weeks, it must stay above 80% approval. If it dips below 80%, then it starts over. So it needs to stay above 80% approval for the governance to go through, for the social governance. So that began, we had that 80% on February 1st. And what was really interesting about this is that people were wondering, including myself, why it was taking so long for the validators to approve this update, because the update was introduced many months ago and we knew ahead of time what this was going to be, and it was heavily talked about. So it felt very intentional that they were delaying the actual implementation of the governance vote, and like there, you know, was a deeper plan there. And then February 1st, we officially got 80%. And that puts us 2 weeks out from 214, Valentine's Day. So I just think that's really interesting. And it also makes me think of the Mr. Pool post that talked about opening up the pools of liquidity for all to see. And let me see if I can just find that real quick. Mr. Pool, pools of liquidity. I was hoping it would show up, like maybe someone's tweeted about it recently. It's really hard to search Mr. Pool stuff, but you have to take my word for it. There was a Mr. Pool post, multiple actually, where they talked about opening up the pools of liquidity to the masses and basically saying this would be a very important, momentous moment. And momentous moment. Very redundant. But yeah, 214, Valentine's Day. And yeah, I just found that very interesting. So we could see the markets go crazy. You know, I'm not going to say that they will, because I don't get my hopes up for anything anymore in terms of dates and all this kind of stuff. But you know, it's this is not just like a date that's been given by an insider, but totally aside from that, you know, we have very tangibly this system going live. Where is it? the automated market makers going live on that day. So when these pools of liquidity open up, who knows? Will institutions ape in mass? Will the average person in crypto start to take advantage of the AMM opportunities and the liquidity pools? Maybe not. Maybe it'll be a slow ramp up, but just those two things combined, it's kind of like that masculine, feminine we were talking about again in the beginning, like the intuition and the symbolism and that feminine energy where you understand what is, and then the masculine energy of the tangible, the doing, the action, the physical things, and then the synthesis of both of those. So let's see. And actually, this Bearable Guy post, which was posted in 2019, actually puts 214. So like way before this person ever decoded 214, it was straight up in the post. And one of the things that we've heard kind of consistently from the riddling groups is that the answers have always been right in front of us. Like it's always been there. Moon date or whatever it be. So I don't know. Is February 14th moon date? Not going to say it is, but at the very least, it is going to be a very large upgrade for the XRP ledger and for the global economy and the decentralization and sovereignty of the global economy. So now, okay, wait, I got to share the audio on this one. Okay, we'll do the Vitalik one first, and then we'll end it out with this meme. So BitTrue actually tweeted this, which I thought was hilarious. BitTrue is a exchange, very XRP focused. They're like the biggest XRP exchange in terms of users and like how many trading pairs there are with XRP directly and stuff. They're very pro XRP. They're based out of Singapore. Anyways, this is a meme of the creator of Ethereum, who, take everything else I just told you about with JP Morgan and everything into context with this, but he's kind of the MK Ultra figurehead for Ethereum, and just extremely cringe. I've shared so many videos of him before and showed you guys like what, just like feel the energy difference between him and David Schwartz. That'll tell you everything you need to know. And what's funny too is that Vitalik actually tried working for Ripple prior to making Ethereum. He applied to work with Ripple and basically didn't get in because he was various reasons, but he didn't get approved. And then he went on to make Ethereum. So it feels very much like with this whole ETHgate that both both Vitalik and JP Morgan were like turned down by Ripple, in a way. And then they teamed up to make this competitor against Ripple and XRP. So Ethereum is like the banking infrastructure's answer to XRP and Ripple. And so a common meme is a crazy picture of Vitalik and the comment, "Your entire net worth is in the hands of this man." That's like a meme you see all over crypto Twitter. But yeah. All right, let's share the last meme. What does it start with? Here we go. It says deleted footage from Joel Katz, who is David Schwartz, when he had the idea for XRP.
I owe the banks a lot of money, but little do they know, I just learned about manifestation. Now I'm gonna get so much money, I don't need a job. Why? Because I can manifest. I don't need the old gods anymore. I answer to no one. Everything is mine, thanks to manifestation. I owe the banks a lot of money, but little do they know, I just learned about manifestation. Now I'm gonna get so much money, I don't need a job. Why? Because I can manifest. I don't need the old gods anymore. I answer to no one. Everything is mine, thanks to manifestation.
If you haven't seen this comedian, he is absolutely hilarious. I recommend checking him out. But yeah, I figured that was just perfect. No longer live. What are you talking about? Okay, you're good now. So let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I think I shared everything. We basically, we have this big update coming up. So it's a really good time to get into crypto and XRP in particular. And we're going to teach you in the academy all about how to take advantage of these liquidity pools that are going to be coming up, because we can already practice liquidity pools over on other blockchains like Stellar, and now there's been some that have opened up on Corium. So this technology is already out there. This isn't like a new technology, but what's new is that it's coming to the XRP ledger, and that is a big deal. So check out the Conscious Crypto Academy. We're starting on March 9th, and we are going to be having this container. We've never done it as a specific container before. So traditionally, the way I've been running this program for the last 2 years now, actually, yeah, it'll be 2 years next month, March of 2022. I've done it as a rolling program because I wanted people to be able to start right away and just be able to come in and get going. And so traditionally it's just been, people joining and people graduating like all the time. But I really wanted to test out having a specific container where we had a specific start date and end date so that we could have this group of people like really bond and network over the course of this container. And then, like I was saying earlier, I also wanted to provide it at a price that was way more accessible than I've done previously. So there is an investment cost, of course. This is something that is investing in your future and your knowledge, and it's investing in yourself. So you're investing in your ability to be able to use this technology and apply it into your life, your business, generating passive income, however it is that you end up working with crypto. But the biggest things for me are the sovereignty, the decentralized passive income, and the opportunity itself with the markets and the investments, and where I think they're going to go in the future relative to where they are right now, and how you can position yourself to be someone who is able to make a massive impact. Like literally imagine if you had $10 million, $100 million, whatever it is, that would be like just picture the biggest number that you think, and then multiply that by 10. If you had that, what could you do, right? Like what change could you make? What healing centers, what schools, what, churches, temples, like those are the things that come to mind for me. But everyone's got their unique thing. And there's all these things that the world needs right now that money is the barrier for, right? The global economy should be a healthy tourist field, just like everything else. It should be a healthy tourist field, but they've put parasites and dams, like we were talking about liquidity and springs and the earth earlier. It's like the dams that we've put up around the earth have greatly impacted the way water is supposed to flow and the natural ecosystems, like, the salmon being affected by all the dams in the Pacific Northwest, things like that. Like even like think of the Grand Canyon, right? Like the Grand Canyon is supposed to have all this water flowing through it, but we've dammed it up at multiple areas on the Colorado River. So just picture on both the literal and the metaphysical level, when the water is allowed to freely flow the way that it's intended to, whether we're talking about the literal earth water or the financial markets liquidity, when the water and the liquidity can flow naturally by the grace of God, miracles will happen. And that's the transition that we're in right now. So this is basically investing in that transition and in your opportunity. And I'm not talking about investing in this program, but investing in crypto, investing in this new financial infrastructure that is decentralized, that's by the people for the people, that's putting us on an even level. I meant to say even and level. it is an evil playing ground right now. That's the problem, right? Like we are playing on their evil playing ground. That is the parasites in the Taurus field. So we need to make that, we need to go from an evil playing field to an even playing field and make that, you know, prosperity accessible to all. And that's what I'm seeing, not just crypto, but XRP and specifically these liquidity pools that are going to be opening up in a couple weeks doing. So if you're feeling called to this, have courage. You know, if you're feeling that call, that's that feminine part. And then you need to do the masculine. You need to take action, because if you just sit there in the feminine, you're going to get all the great ideas. But unless you actually go and accomplish that with the masculine in some respect, which is different for everyone. You know, if you're a male, you're going to have more of that masculine generally. If you're a female, you're going to have obviously more of the feminine. But it's swapped for some people too, right? Like some males have more feminine, some females have more masculine. It's not about, do you identify as a man or a woman or any of that? It's just about these innate energies within us, masculine and feminine energies. And I believe we should have a synthesis, a balance. One can be greater than the other for sure, but there should be a balance and an accessibility of both. And it, to me, feels like, you know, you receive the downloads, you receive the information, you receive the call, and then you create action on it. You create a game plan. You kind of embody the Fool card in tarot, right? Like I got that card recently, and that's one of my favorite cards to get, because it's like this exciting, you know, movement into new unknown territory where the people around you might look at you and go, oh, he's a fool. He's, you know, he's doing a risky thing. He's going outside of the cultural norm. But you know that you're stepping into God's trust, into God's universe, into God's realm. And you have to have, with anything in life, you have to have blind faith in God, right? Blind faith in other things can be dangerous, but blind faith in God, that we have to have trust. And it's not always going to show up in a way that makes us feel super comfortable. We're not always going to get the evidence that we need to make the decisions that we know we should make because we're trusting in God. But God will give us that comfort and that love and that trust and the courage to take the action. And, you know, it's kind of like that analogy again of like, I prayed for courage and God gave me situations. God gave me fearful situations to overcome. I prayed for love and God gave me difficult relationships to love. I prayed for money and God gave me financial hardship to manifest money, right? So sometimes the things that we're praying for, we're like, why are they not showing up directly? Like I'm praying for $1 million, but the $1 million isn't showing up. Or I'm praying for, you know, a nicer house, or I'm praying for, you know, more friendships, or I'm praying for whatever it is. I think we can often miss it because we're waiting for that thing to show up in like a pretty box with a bow and a ribbon on our doorstep. And when it doesn't, when it shows up as the lesson through which we have to move through and manifest and have the courage to move through that lesson and that initiation and that trial, that's when the beautiful things happen. And I think every beautiful thing in life is on the other side of a little bit, some degree, might be a little, might be a lot, but on the other side of discomfort and risk, right? So if you're that person who has been waiting to get into crypto, this is your opportunity. This is your call to action. Okay. Do it now. This academy is going to be starting in a couple weeks, and you're going to be able to go through this with a group of people who are like-minded, who are conscious. And that's one of the best things in terms of feedback that I've heard about my academy running it, is so many people come in and they're like, oh, I have nobody to talk about this stuff with. Like I feel called to crypto and the spiritual connections and the spiritual evolution. And I feel myself, you know, consciously expanding, but the people around me are not doing that. And I can't talk to them about, you know, my spiritual evolution, and I can't talk to them about XRP, and I can't talk to them about whatever. So this is a container where the people that are called to this container are already of this similar vibration, and you can trust in God that God will put you with the right people in this container and also in life in general to have the community, to grow and expand, and to create the opportunities that you're going to need to be the best person that you can be and service others to the greatest capacity that you can. So check out the link below if you're interested in joining the academy. Again, starts March 9th. And we go over, just to show you real quick of what's included. we have a core masterclass. It's got step-by-step tutorials on, of course, the basics, but then setting up wallets, like your exchange accounts, generating compound interest on the blockchain, other forms of decentralized passive income. And then we have a weekly coaching call every Sunday. They're all recorded. So there's going to be 12 weekly coaching calls. We're going to meet every Sunday for an hour or two with this container. And then we have a 24/7 support group chat with the other members of the Academy, including all the people who have been in it over the past 2 years. And what's awesome about this group chat is, well, in addition to everything I just said, it's intimate. So there's like 65 or so people in there right now. And, you know, many of you guys have probably been in Telegram chats where there's like hundreds or thousands of people, and you try to ask a question and everybody's just asking questions, and your question just gets lost and it gets drowned out, and you don't actually get the help. It can kind of feel like an echo chamber. So what's cool about our group chat is that it's intimate. It's a perfect balance of like, it's got a good amount of people, you know, over 60, but it's intimate enough that you're not going to get drowned out when you try to ask a question. And everyone else in that container is super helpful, super of service, super loving. And shout out to everyone who's in that container. And for those of you that are already in the Conscious Crypto Academy, you get this for free. This is just, you know, an additional thing. You'll be able to come to, you know, this coaching container as well. So this is for new members. This is for people who have not yet joined the Academy. And yeah, we're gonna be doing that for every week. And then, you know, the community that's involved in there, our intention overall is not just to create the knowledge and give you the knowledge and create the space for you to learn this information, but our big picture is that we're creating the network of people who are going to be able to co-create some really amazing, beautiful things. Like earlier when Mario was talking about like what his vision was, everyone who comes into this program, nearly everybody has some idea of what they want to do. And you don't need to, it's not a prerequisite that you have to like have some grand vision, but almost everyone's inspired by something that they'd be like, yeah, if I had $10 million, if I had $100 million, I would create this for the world. I would give this to humanity, you know? So that is our big vision, that we're creating this network, that when this pops off, it's an international network, and we're going to be able to tap into each other's networks and resources and information and wisdom and co-create some really beautiful things on the planet. And I think that, you know, this is the kind of thing that's going to change the world overnight. Not just this, you know, container, but I mean the conscious evolution through the financial shifts that are happening, and the foundational layer of change that the financial shifts will enact will be profound and will create overnight change rapidly. I mean, look at how much has already changed in terms of the global culture and perception and ideas just from Elon. And what Elon has been able to do, being the influential person he is and putting the ideas out that he is, whether you like him or you don't like him, you know, I'm not pro brain chip, obviously, but he says a lot of other things that I'm in alignment with, right? So him having that impact, think about when there's all of a sudden a whole fucking generation, a whole mass of people who are here to help the planet, to use money to actually help their fellow humans and not enslave them. That is the moment of the flipping of the pyramid, right? When the majority become service to others and influential, and the minority is the self-serving, hoarding bottom of the pyramid. So we're going to flip the pyramid, and then it's going to take new shape from there. And I think that's when you could say it evolves into a Taurus field or whatever the new Earth economy ends up becoming. I don't think we can even fathom it at this point. But the opportunity is tremendous, and that's what we're here to help with. So if you're feeling called to this, join the Academy, click the link down in the description. And I'm hoping to see you there when we start on March 9th. And I think that's going to be it for today, guys. So thanks for hanging out. Much love. That was fun. And it's my goal this month to try to make, I was hesitant about saying this, but I think I'm going to try to make a piece of content on YouTube every day this month and see what it does for the algorithm, and if we can get the channel popping again, because, you know, my my past kind of creation pattern has been that I'll go, really intense for a couple months and then I'll take a break for a couple months. And I've never ever tried making content and videos every day. So I'm like, okay, what kind of magic could we unlock if I actually do that? So I think I'm going to try that. It might not actually, there might be days where I have to be like, okay, I'm not feeling it today, but maybe I'll push through on those days and just upload something, even if it's just like a minute or 30 seconds or something. And on Instagram too, I'm going to try to upload every day. So also there is an affiliate program and an affiliate program associated with this academy. So if you would like to be an affiliate and you want to get paid to refer people to the academy, let me know, reach out to me. The best place to reach out to me would probably, if you're not following me on Instagram or whatever, you can send me an email, cosmicorigins777@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat here. And if you want to be an affiliate, just email me here and we'll get you an official link. And that link, basically, if you share with anyone and they sign up for the academy, you will get a referral networking payout for that. So I think this is like the networking marketing economy is something that I think is really going to shift conscious business, and not like multi-level marketing, because that's like the distorted version of that, but network marketing, where if you truly believe in a product or service and you share it with other people to be able to generate abundance from that, that is a big, I think, new earth business concept that will continue to grow and flourish. And I'm interested in exploring that more and more. And conscious business in general, I think, is really a powerful thing, and it's empowering and good for, humanity right now to kind of take our power back and look how we can either create our own conscious business or support other conscious businesses and stop spending our money and our energy on these old world, old paradigm businesses, products, services that we know are taking that money and using it to enslave us, right? So the money is foundational. I know for many people, money is a trigger, like for myself, it was too. Like just a couple of years ago, I was living in a van, homeless, broke, negative money in my account, just being in the hyper feminine, literally, like I was talking about, like praying every day for money. And yeah, money would come. It would always come what we needed when we needed it. If we needed to buy food and we had zero money in the account, we'd get a donation or sell some kind of service or product, get a session. It would always work out. But for me, what took it to the next level was when I really activated my masculine and I stepped out of the hyper feminine state of just receiving and praying 24/7 without the masculine action. When I stepped in and brought a balance of my masculine and feminine together, that's when things really began to shift for me. That's when I found crypto, when I had the not just the foresight, but the courage to be the fool, to go out and invest in crypto. And then for my business, to invest in expanding my business and learning more about conscious business and investing in myself and my knowledge. And that took me to the next level. And now I'm so grateful where I'm at in life. I'm not like a millionaire or doing crazy or anything, but I'm in a much better, more stable position than I was a few years ago. I have one of my dream cars now. I have an RV that we've been trying to manifest for years. I eat really well. I think that's important even when you don't have money. That's something that was also pivotal for me, was choosing to make what I was putting in my body the number one priority financially over, buying things for myself. I think that decision in particular is really powerful. When you make the decision to be like, okay, God, I trust in you. I trust that, you're going to provide for me in this way. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to take the opportunities when you give them to me. But like, it's counterintuitive to buy like steak and, like nice foods when you're broke. But for me, that was one of the things that shifted me. I think that that's like my Mercury retrograde mind. Like I was born in a Mercury retrograde. So I think I think like differently than a lot of people do. I think kind of backwards or counterintuitively. And I think that was one of those things where like, you know, a lot of the hustle grind business type people will be like, oh, you got to eat ramen and you just got to suck it up, bro. Just eat like shit and get super inflated and inflamed and it's going to pay off one day. And that I believe is the wrong way to go about it. I think you have to prioritize your health as the number one thing, and everything else will align itself when you prioritize your health, including your finances, your relationships, you know, your opportunities, like everything. So that's kind of a tangent, but if you guys want to check out Contra Crypto, click the link down below. Thank you guys for hanging out. Shout out to Smokey for hanging out in the chat. Joel, everyone who's been here, thank you for hanging out. And I'll see you guys probably tomorrow with a new video. And I'm going to try to mix it up with some different videos too. I think I'm going to do not just crypto content like this, but some more esoteric spiritual content. One of the next videos I'm going to make is about like how you can get your circadian rhythm back into check, because my circadian rhythm used to be horrible. I'd stay up till like 3 and sleep till like noon, mainly when I was in college and coming out of college. And now my circadian rhythm is like beautiful. Like I didn't even dream I could have the kind of sleep wake rhythms that I have right now. I didn't even think it was possible. I wake up naturally like an hour before sunrise every day, and I fall asleep you know, shortly like after sunset, and I can't fight that. I just like pass out. So there's some things that you can do. I'll make a video about that too, what it's helped me the most. And yeah, Sheila G, I do still use it. So the Sheila G brand that I plug a lot is my friend Ben's brand. And shout out to Ben if you happen to be watching this. Him and I, so he's the owner of Legit, Sheila G. The name of the brand is Legit. And him and I were in the trenches together just a couple of years ago, talking about being homeless and everything. We were literally living in Dana Point, basically employed by a heroin addict that we didn't know was a heroin addict at the time, washing windows. We were washing like multi-million-dollar house windows in San Clemente in Dana Point, California. But the guy we were living with turned out to be a heroin addict that was hiding it from us. And it was like rock bottom of where we were. We literally ended up living in a hotel room with this guy, Ben, and a few other people, because we had nowhere else to go. And that was like rock bottom for me. So from that point, him and I both have had this amazing amount of expansion, very much related to our conscious businesses that we've developed. So yeah, Sheila G is what I recommend. And let me see if I can get the link real quick. Oh, that's my emails. Close that. Hold on. I will. Okay. I'll let me just look real quick, see, because I think it might be in my emails. Because I have a particular code that you can use for them that gives me a little bit of a kickback. I'll throw it in the chat, or I mean, I'll throw it in the comments after this, that link. Well, I'll go find it and throw it in. But yeah, I actually just started taking Sheila G again recently. I kind of took a few months off from it. And I think it's good to reset your system with anything like that to kind of, you know, test how you feel on and off. But since bringing it back into my life, oh my God, it's helped so much. I can see the difference from where I was previously to now, and the energy levels and detox abilities and pathways. Like I had a big glob of it in my coffee this morning, and I feel on point. Like, I feel like my brain has the nutrients it needs to actually think. Whereas a lot of times I'm like, I just, sometimes you just can't think. You're like brain dead. You're what is it, demineralized, or you're malnourished because you don't have enough minerals. So Shilajit, yeah, definitely recommend. Juggernaut Jess, you playing the role you meant to, brother. Great message and what you're creating. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, here's the Shilajit link. Let's yeah, I guess you guys can copy and paste, but I'll throw that in the comments down below, and you guys can get some Shilajit from Legit Gold. So, all right, guys, much love. Thanks for hanging out. Again, check out Conscious Crypto Academy, link in the description. We start in a couple weeks, and we have a 60% off sale right now. So take advantage of that sale. It's legit. It's not just a marketing thing. Like my prices are going to go back up after this month. So I wanted to open this window for people, to be able to expand to people who have not been able to join before. So take advantage of that, and much love, everyone. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.